Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or the guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Dawn Melanie. I thank you for joining me this week for another episode of Managing Self. As always, I'll be sharing with you some examples, or shall I say, excerpts of my daily living of how I manage myself, particularly as needed and so ever changing, battling, relapsing, remitting multiple sclerosis for the past 20 years and counting. Last week, many recognized Halloween Day. Some dressed up, others didn't. Some went door to door, soliciting handouts of free candy, saying the ubiquitous phrase said several times every October 31st. The phrase, trick or treat. Never really expecting nor wanting the former, that is a trick, but, always in search of, I say a most juvenile short-term goal. That is to collect as much candy, as you can from each participating household. Then move on to the next. Trick or treat, next, trick or treat, next, over and over and basically repeat. Okay, I won't even prolong where I'm going with the story. How it relates to MS, my multiple sclerosis, and me managing myself. I'm sure each and every one of you out there listening sufferers of multiple sclerosis or any other chronic illness, or simply going through some difficult life events from time to time. Each of us has taken a step back and asked ourselves, is this really happening? I remember March 11th, 1999, when I received my official MS diagnosis. I knew that it was serious, and it was something that I'd be dealing with for a long time, and I didn't have a choice. So it was simple as that. I didn't have a choice. The doctor said, you have multiple sclerosis based on the evidence, the empirical evidence retrieved from my lab work, my MRIs, my lumbar puncture, etc. like that. So it wasn't a choice of whether or not I had it, but it was a choice of how I was going to not accept it, but how I was going to receive it. Last weekend, or last Saturday, my husband and I went to a MS support group meeting where I'll admit it was comforting to hear someone else share or share share their experiences that are similar to mine as far as how they received the information as far as their diagnosis, yet they didn't let it control them. And a lot of people expect they expect inevitably just a wheelchair or immobility, things of that nature, which it's understandable, and it's always a possibility. However, I think the biggest thing for me, it was echoed in the meeting by several women, that the biggest thing with dealing with MS and dealing with our MS or managing ourselves with MS is to stay in control and on top of the situation, and to not let it dictate who we are. But you look so good. Yeah, thank you. That's usually my response when someone tells me that, when they learn that I have multiple sclerosis. I thank them for acknowledging that I look so good. I'm fully aware that, I do possess many qualities many would not associate with someone with multiple sclerosis for over 20 years, myself. However, I do want to stress that I do realize, I do recognize that I am more like you than we are different. When I say I'm more like you, you're going, wait a minute. She's, works out 3 hours a day and, 4 or 5 days a week. Some people say, well, I can't do that, or I don't do that. So it's like, no, we're not different. Or, maybe somebody's like going, wait a minute, I don't strut around in a bikini in front of thousands of people, spectators in Las Vegas, competing and striving for a more or less a vanity trophy to more or less validate my ideal feminine athletic figure, or as I call it, pretty muscles. Again, in high heels, bikini high heels, strutting around. Itsy bitsy, tiny, blinged out bikini, and maybe you never did this stuff, any of that stuff, or do that and actually accept several overall trophies in competition, including the title of Miss Bikini America. all battling multiple sclerosis, but I have, and it was all because of positive choices that I made. Choices. You may be saying, "Wait a minute, okay, maybe she doesn't understand that I'm not in heels running around in the stage competing in Vegas in a bikini or working out all those hours a day or all of those hours a week." That's not the similarity that I'm talking about. The similarity that I'm alluding to is actually just the fact that we do have choices, and that's my reality. I am I'm in workout shape. I'm a fitness MS warrior, and that's my reality. So my choice is I can either pursue and do what makes me happy, what I am capable of. I can't do it in the same capacity that I used to before MS or even earlier on when I hadn't gone through as many flare-ups and things like that. But I still can, to some capacity, and enjoy it, at least my joy, and actually have fun. So that's the choice that I make, that I've made. And, I encourage you all out there to, whatever you do that makes you happy, even if you can't do it in the same capacity, explore options of doing it another way. Everything we do, everything we don't do, or everything we don't say is a choice. I was talking about Halloween earlier, and this year I didn't dress up in Halloween costume, which I like to. I've been Genie, I've been Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, I've been Spider Woman, I think a dominatrix. But anyway, all these different costumes, it was fun. See, I didn't do that this year. Well, because the rain wasn't. It was bad weather. So let's see. I didn't go door to door trick or treating, but I'm actually more bummed that I didn't pass out any candy, because, like I said, it was a torrential downpour, and it was freezing cold. At least my body interpreted, 70 or maybe 65 degrees as freezing cold. And I'll be honest, I took the easy road, literally. Easy road, literally and figuratively, because although we had flash flood warnings, I got in my car and I ended up, or headed toward my safe, happy place, the gym. I said, okay, this is the gym time. I can do my, if I don't do anything else, I'm going to walk at least a 5K. And, my goal for that is about an hour of time. So I did that. I'm like, okay, I'll do something that makes me happy, something that is health promoting. I look at, I always say keep it moving, or do something. People say just do it. Do what? I always say do something. But, I went to the gym. I walked probably about 4 or 5 miles, actually. And the second half, I was actually probably talking to at least 3 of my cronies there, all over the ages 60, 65. And after that, I headed to a local restaurant and had a salad and some seasonal veggies with grilled salmon, which was great. It was healthy food. It wasn't a cheeseburger that I considered, but I said, how about you eat something healthy that you won't regret later? Like, I should have had that. So, I chose my salmon salad, knowing how good and tasty the decadent burgers were at that location. But, I chose life. Again, here's an example of me making a choice. My choices were to go to the gym. I enjoy a healthy lifestyle. I haven't competed in over 6 years, but I'll say I'm actually in better shape that I can compete. However, there's no need to compete. It's a lot of unnecessary stress. But I do enjoy going to the gym. I do enjoy living a healthy lifestyle. I do enjoy eating healthier foods, because not only do I know that it's been proven that healthier food consumption will make us feel better and help us to avoid any more complications that we already have. That's what I chose to do. So remember, I said, choose things to make you happy. And this was definitely a day that made me happy. So it wasn't ideal, or wasn't what I would have chosen to do, because I thought I was going to do Halloween and do the partying thing, really mild celebrations or something like that. But MS said, no, how about you make a change of a shift and do it a different way. So that's my new norm. Do what I can when I can. I just want to say that I bet that's the easier part of life. At least it has been my experiences, to choose things that make you happy. A lot of times, we choose happy things over choosing something that is a necessity, or simply the right thing to do. Um, we all have a choice. I always talk about choice, right or wrong. We've been blessed with free will, and we have a choice every decision that we make. So it's easy to pick the choice of doing or saying or just what have you, of something that's happy. It's easy, but I bet a number of you who are listening are in denial of what you say that you want. You see, I think it's been my experiences. You know, I'll just talk about in general people, my experiences, because it does relate to MS as well. But I bet a lot of you listening are in denial of what you say you want. People say, "Oh, I want this. Man, I want to, I want this. I want that." But you don't really do what it takes to get that. So, with that in mind, I want to go ahead and jump to this week's challenge right now. If there's something you want to change in your life, a difference that you and only you are in control of, and you are simply lollygagging or dragging your butt about taking real action, real action, not just talking about it. It's easy to talk. Talk is so darn cheap. But if you really want to change something in your life, then you'll take real action. So I'm challenging you to take real action on that you say you want to change your life. Make that change. Do those actions to make the change. Remember, trick or treat, give you something good to eat. Well, guess what? It ain't always good. Sometimes you'll get a little black and orange, peanut butterish, not really peanut butter, but the candies that you don't like. You're gonna get both. So, just like we're going trick or treating, and we I guess put it out in the universe or ask to give us something that's good, happy, positive. We don't always receive that, but it's important that we don't stop being in pursuit of that, to which we claim we want. If you stop saying, okay, I'm going to get better, I got a friend, I'm going to jump around here, but I got a friend, he hadn't walked in over, let's say, 8 or 9 years, and I was talking to him, and, we were talking about just simple wheelchair exercises and things like that, and he said, Dawn, I'm gonna walk again. I said, Stephen, I know you will. And it was the greatest thing to see the video that he sent to me, where he was at his therapy session, and he actually stood up out of the chair, and he was on the kind of the parallel bars. He took about 10 steps. It was so freaking cool. I was like, told him he would. He didn't say, okay, I'm not going to walk. I can't walk. I'm not going to walk. But he knew if he was going to walk, he had to try. He had to take the steps, no pun intended, but he had to take the steps to achieve that goal. It was tough. The pain, even this, gosh, it's so awful. The simplicity of just bending his foot, with the heel or so, he was actually proposed with an operation to cut the tendon so that he could get the bend. It had been so long since he had to use his feet. That was a difficult task for him. But as I was saying, that's just an example of somebody who wanted to make a change. It was difficult, so they did it, and he didn't regret that he did. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to jump around here. About making that change that we say we want. I'm old school. I'm a Generation X, I believe. Yeah, I'm old school. Anyway, when I say I want to do something, oftentimes I do grab a notebook, just get a pen and a paper, or sometimes I'll go to some of the fancier electronic devices that we have, such as my smartphone, my what's that thing called, Chromebook or laptop or what have you. I'll go ahead and write it down. I want to change X, Y, Z. I'll write that down. Now, my goal is for the next 21 days, after I've more or less documented my wants, my desires, for the next 21 days, I strive to write down some verbiage. How I'm doing, how's my day going, how am I meeting my goals, or steps that I've noted, whether it be positive or negative, but write it down. Write down something to document that you're accountable for. You know, I'm going to jump again. Oftentimes, it's so funny. People go, well, what should I eat to lose weight? What should I eat to gain weight? What should I do to get muscles? And they want diet plans and things like that. And, like that's really easy if you know where you are. See, we're often in denial of what we're doing. People say they want something, they're doing something else. Um, you know, um, People say, I feel really bad. My medicine doesn't work, and the he's an idiot, or he or she's an idiot. Really? Are you really taking the medicine as prescribed, or are you taking it every now and then when you feel like it, when you remember? Before we start shooting blame at people, are you doing your part? And with MS, I know I have bad days, but are my bad days my own fault, or are there something that I could do better? Like I said earlier, I went to the gym. I could have sat at home and watch TV and I don't know, eat popcorn or eat chocolate. But I did something about it. I went and practiced my walking because I know that's a challenge for me. People say they want to change, even relationships. They say, I want to change. I need to be better for you. I've heard it before, and I've also seen a lack of true action, which is disheartening. But I do stay positive. That's the only way I can get through any hard times. With MS, relationships, with food, with, just any life situations. Positivity. That's the only way that I do get through those. But I can give a rat's ass just how positive you are about a situation changing, or how you perceive it, which is often a very critical factor. But positivity means nothing if you're not honest. And remember, I said to journalize what you're going through, how you're feeling, the actual efforts that you are taking to reach that goal that you have. Be honest. Honest to yourself. Go ahead and admit the efforts that you made. Go ahead and celebrate those. You deserve it. Good job. But also be honest with efforts that you have failed to make. And any lies you've told yourself to others. It may relate to the goal or not. But all this is going to... It's funny. I talk about toxicity. But all this negative stuff that occurs, whether it be, you saying, I can't do something, I'm not good enough for doing this, I'll never be able to do that, or, what have you. All that negative energy, negative speak, it's harmful. It's harmful to your body. But at the same time, I believe it's just as harmful for it to lie to yourself in, let's say, silence or denial, to not admit that. Because as long as the person's in denial about something, of why they're doing something, or why they're not doing something, again, why they're saying something, why they're not saying it, it's only those negative vibes are going to fester in them, and unfortunately spill over to the people who are closest to them. So, managing myself, managing my MS, I'm learning every day that I do have to be true to myself, because I'm not saying that I'm not going to count on anyone else for anything, but I know that I have to make myself a priority, because oftentimes I have been the victim of been the victim of not being, I don't know, I don't want to use any words. I think you guys know where I'm going with this. My point is, if you want to achieve something, a goal, don't just talk about it, do it. Hope for the best, be positive. I always do, or I try to be as much as possible. But also realize that everything doesn't fall into place as planned. There's going to be blips and bleeps and glitches and what have you, but you can't really address any of those things if you're not honest with yourself. First and foremost. I always say I do everything for a reason, and I've known others who say, I don't know why I did that. I think that's not true. I think if we dig down deep into ourselves, we can figure out why we do things. And it usually is the indication of something greater, but it all starts with ourselves, to look and be honest with ourselves. Again, so if you want to change something, especially with MS, relationship with MS, how I manage myself, I'm honest with myself, as honest as I can be, so that I don't feed people lies and stories, and like I feel great today, and when I feel like crap today, or oh yeah, I can run that 10K with you, or I don't know, heck, we can go do jumping jacks or something. I don't know, something that I know I can't do. I'm not gonna lie and say that I can't do, or something that I don't want to do. I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm gonna do, or something I don't have the capacity to do. I'm not gonna say it, or something I want to do, but I ain't doing a dang thing to get there. I might as well just keep my mouth shut, because I'm doing nobody a favor except, I don't know, what do you call that? Cloud talk? Well, yeah, I'm cloud talking and not really benefiting anybody. So I just think we should all, pardon me, should basically take a step back, look at our situations with MS, any illness, any relationship, anything that we have, because all these things relate to our stress levels, which we want to mitigate at all times. So I think we all should take a step back, look at our lives, and understand that what we do, what we have been doing, especially repetitiously, all that is basically reinforcing our minds to believe that's what we're capable of. That's all we're capable of. And we keep doing something over and over again. I can't walk. I'll never get out of my wheelchair. I'll never take a step. Keep telling yourself that, you're going to only reinforce that into your mind. So if you want to make a change, do something about it. Don't just talk about it. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to your loved ones. A lot of people say they don't want to be a burden, but are you really trying to help them? Not. So just tell the truth. Just tell the truth to yourself first and foremost. I believe Ray Bradbury said it pretty well. He said, "You can't try to do things. You must simply do them." Let me repeat that. You can't try to do things. You must simply do them. I understand we try to do things and we don't always succeed. However, with an honest effort, we have a better propensity to actually achieve those things. Again, that's when we need to be honest with ourselves of how hard we're trying or how hard we want it to happen. Man, I sit here and think about how when I really wanted something really, really badly, and when I didn't get it, it's pretty much because I didn't try hard enough. I know that. I remember the CPA exam. I first sat for the CPA exam in 1994, and I was working probably 50 hours a week, traveling, Big Six accounting firm, and I didn't have time to study for that thing. I went to the classes, the prep courses. My company paid $1,000 for me to go to these classes to get me ready for the exam, but I sat there. My mind was not there. My body was, but I was not interested. I didn't try, and I was my heart was on the floor when I got the letter saying that I had failed the uniform commercial or certified public accounting exam, whatever. I was like, wow, I failed. I've never failed anything in my life. Well, I had now. Um, that was pretty devastating. I went ahead and studied like I was supposed to, and the next time I said I got 3 parts down, and the last part I didn't, the final part. So it was a lot of studying, a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, but I knew what I had to do to get it done because it meant that much to me. Okay, guys, I need to wrap this up shortly here, but I just want to point out that it's been over 30 days I haven't been on any disease-modifying therapy, and I think I feel fine. A break from my somewhat invasive procedure of IV infusion every 28 days. Now, some may say, well, wow, that's a treat. Others may say, is that a trick? You're not taking any MS medicine. Well, perception, how you perceive it. I look at it as a break, a positive break. And again, I said, I feel like I'm doing just fine because I think it's giving me the opportunity to let my brain override any physiological apparent symptoms that I may have. I think the brain's powerful. I think the brain's most powerful organ in our body. Organ, muscle, it's powerful. It's got to be, right? Because think about it. The lesions on our brain dictate so many things in our body that is affected. Walking, our speech, etc., etc. But remember I talked about choice, our free will? I think that's what the brain is so darn strong, because it's that or I don't know, that control center. There we go. That control center that controls just everything. And our thoughts are very important because it dictates a lot of how we feel. This is I think this is true because people oftentimes waste time saying, okay, I'm doing better, or trying to quote unquote prove it. How about you just do better? Just do better. Stop trying to hide deficiencies that you have, and on the flip side, focus on overcoming them. Instead of doing what you know that you always do, that you've done so many times over and over again, saying the same things, getting the same result, how about doing something different? Seek something out that's challenging. Don't just sit there and go, let me take the easy road, like knocking on doors, trick or treat, getting a free handout of candy. Go ahead and face the hard challenges, something to really make you grow and expand. I encourage you all out there listening to find some passion that you may have lost, kind of rekindle that, or maybe something that you've never started before. Maybe it's a way of life. Maybe it is your MS medications or modifying drug. Pardon me, disease modifying drug. Perhaps it's that. But whatever it is, go out and face it head on so that you can grow. See how you do after some time. Remember, I told you about journalizing. Go ahead and see so you can be accountable for your actions by documenting your progress. Let's see how you do. Hopefully, you'll stick to whatever it is that you say you want. You'll stick with it, especially not just the good times, but even when it's not going well, because that's going to be your hallmark of your growth mindset. I'm not going to claim to be all psychologically, clinically mastermind here by any means, but I do know that there's a difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And unfortunately, if we retain a fixed mindset, oftentimes it's difficult to get out of something that we want to or don't want to. In other words, kind of like stuck in a rut. I think it's more likely to a fixed mindset where you may say you want something, but you keep doing the same things over and over again. Thus, habitual stuff forms, habits form, and even some claim addiction. So I know there's a difference between a growth mindset, which is different from a fixed mindset, because with growth you're embracing and nourishing habits to grow, to go beyond any current situations that you are. So I encourage everybody out there to perhaps look into this, some reading. There's plenty of stuff out there, of course, and maybe work on developing your own growth mindset. Remember, it's this growth mindset that's going to allow you to thrive, even during the times that are most challenging in your life, whether it be MS, diagnosis, treatments, decisions of what you're going to do, relationships, because oftentimes MS affects relationships. Some people don't understand why we're so tired. Now that's a factor, but also other relationship issues as well. I want to say that the more we develop and strengthen our growth mindset, we can thrive. And we're all going to get tricks. We're all going to get tricks sometimes, even though we really just want to treat. That's okay. Life goes on. There's another day, and let's all have a positive mindset and stay positive for ourselves, for our loved ones, and for tomorrow. This is Dawn Melanie. I do thank you for joining me again this week for Managing Self, and I do look forward to you joining me next week. Until then, have a blessed day. Thank you.